Hi everyone, and welcome to today's webinar. Today we're pleased to announce the new SugarCRM integration with JIRA, and I'd like to introduce David Faye, CEO of Faye Business Systems Group, who will be discussing and presenting the new integration. Welcome, David.
Thanks, Chloe. Great to be part of the presentation. Thank you all for attending. Hopefully you can all see my screen. We're here today to talk about Sugar and JIRA. There's a picture of me. Hi, how's it going? We're going to talk a little bit today in the PowerPoint about us, our company, Faye Business Systems Group, a little about Sugar, a little about JIRA, and then we'll get into the demo. And then if you guys have questions towards the end, we can get into those. And naturally, we'll be available after the webinar to address any questions and feedback you might have. So with that, we'll get rolling. Quickly about us, about FayeBSG, we've been doing this for more than 25 years, working with Sugar, some other CRM software, ERP accounting systems. We've got more than 200 clients. We're a Sugar Gold partner. We've done hundreds of successful CRM accounting, ERP software implementations and integrations. We're known in the Sugar ecosystem for a lot of our integrations with ERP software, Constant Contact, Authorize.net, QuickBooks, Sage, Intact, etc. So we're really excited to be bringing the JIRA product to market. It's another integration for us. Quickly, some of our services, they run the gamut of what you, let's not change the color scheme, how about that? Some the standard services offered, including implementations, training, custom development, integration, special projects, etc. Sugar. For most of you on the call, you're probably real familiar with Sugar. You may not be familiar with the fact that Sugar is the fastest growing CRM company in the world. Over 11 million downloads of the software, 2,500 new customers in 80 countries around the globe. It's a really fast growing company, and we're really excited to be working with Sugar. One of the things we love about Sugar is the flexibility and deployment options. You can obviously have it hosted with Sugar. You can have it hosted in a private cloud. You can have it hosted internally. And one of the things that we're really excited about in terms of the JIRA integration is that JIRA has a similar ecosystem. You know, it can be hosted in a lot of different places. It could be hosted at Amazon. It could be hosted in your own server. And you have all kinds of options. And so we feel like Sugar and JIRA are a great combination together. For those of you who may or may not know that much about JIRA, it's essentially a project tracking tool for teams. It's used mainly in the software industry, but it's used in a lot of other industries as well. It's developed by a company called Atlassian, and it's used by more than 25,000 companies around the globe, thousands of teams. Customers include Citigroup, eBay, Coke, a bunch of others, Facebook, Hulu, and of course FayeBSG. With regard to our integration, when your sales, marketing, and support teams need timely access to critical project and issue details, this is where the integration comes in. We created the integration initially for us to use internally because our sales and marketing and support teams needed to have better visibility of project statuses. You know, our sales team was on the phone consistently with clients, and issues would come up and conversations would come up about the status of projects. And as you can imagine, it would get unwieldy and inefficient to keep going back and forth with, you know, our operations team to find out what's going on with this, what's going on with that. And so we built this integration so that our account managers and other sales folks and other client-facing folks would have great real-time access to what was going on with projects. And so that was the initial impetus for developing the integration. You know, we found that since we've developed the integration, we're able to stay on top of issues more timely. When we're speaking with clients, we really know more about what's going on. Our entire team now has that 360-degree view that we really strive to have about our clients. In addition, it's helped us collaborate better. We don't have to send emails back and forth. We don't have to call each other and leave voicemails. We don't even have to walk down the hall. You can, if you're in sugar all day, which is where we want our sales, marketing, and support folks to be, you have that visibility of projects and our development efforts. And it's really made a big difference in our day-to-day workflow. We can also tell by looking at different accounts in sugar, if we didn't know already, you get a real clear vision of who are the guys that are giving us a lot of projects to do and who are the guys who are not giving us so many projects to do. And so it really allows us to manage things more effectively. Once the integration's installed, you would have the ability to look at all kinds of different dashlets on your sugar dashboard. And those dashlets are going to show different views of JIRA issues. In addition, you can build in alerts within sugar that alert you about issues that are becoming past due and things like that. That functionality is available in JIRA also, but if you want to do some of that alerting from within sugar, you can. As I said, you'll be able to see the status of issues from within sugar. You can pull up all the issue details, and you can look at things by type, priority, and status. A lot of the things you can do from within sugar in JIRA, you can now do from within sugar. Here's just a nice little print screen of some of the dashlets that we're going to see in a minute or two in sugar. You can see here, open JIRA issues, past due JIRA issues due soon. And these are all customizable and definable by users. The way the integrations worked is we just created a custom JIRA module within sugar and a couple supporting modules relating to that. And all the data flows in there, and it's like any other module in sugar. It's available for workflows, for reports, for dashboards, for anything that you can do with any other module in sugar, you can do with the JIRA module. In addition, this is the detail screen. So if you were to pop open, a JIRA issue, this is what you would see. And lastly, just as a quick overview, and we'll come back to this a little later, the current version is 1.1, and our plan is to continue to release new versions every 30 days with new features and functionality. There's a lot of really great things we have in the horizon for this integration. There's a time billing component that we're going to be coming out with that's going to be part of a future version, and a lot more capabilities to enhance the ability of the team to work together. So with that, let's get to the demo. There's just some contact information. If you don't have it, we're available to discuss this, as I said before. So let's jump in. So the first thing that happens is that when you get our integration, we created an admin portal that you would log into. And in there, you can enter your sugar credentials, the URL where your sugar is, a username and password. You can enter in your JIRA credentials, a username and password. And then one of the more important things you can do is you have to tell it how to map data from JIRA to sugar. And what that means is that there needs to be a field in a project record in JIRA that matches a field in the account record in sugar. So in this case, what we've done is we've said the name field in the sugar account record has to match the JIRA project key field. And if they match, then as the data flows back and forth, it can take projects in JIRA and attach them to the right account in sugar. A few other things you can do here. You can execute a manual sync from here, but it will run on a scheduler, and it should be updating, however frequently you want it to update. But if you ever need to run a manual sync, you can execute that here. Some of these other things are just part of the admin portal. If you have purchased these integrations from us, these would be here as well, our Sugar QuickBooks, Constant Contact, Intact, etc. So once you've set up the credentials and the integration and you've run your sync, at that point, we can go into Sugar. So this is the Sugar home screen, and again, it's completely customizable by user. But what you'll see is we have here open JIRA issues due soon, and so there's only 4 of those. And we've defined those as issues with a due date within the next 30 days. Now, obviously, you can say it within the next 7 days if you want. And nope, there's only 2 due within the next 7 days. And so you can define this however you want it defined, and it tells you the name of the issue. The assignee is Robert Plant. Our developer is a big Led Zeppelin fan, so you'll have to excuse him. You know, we excuse him, so you should excuse him also. The issue key, which happens to be a combination of the client name and a numeric value, priority, the due date, and then this is the account it's assigned to in Sugar. We have another dashlet over here called Past Due JIRA Issues with some exclamation points if that didn't get the message across enough. And again, we have the name of the issue or the project. These happen to be software projects and things like that. The issue key, again, it's the client name with a numeric value after it, priority, due date, and the status. Again, this is completely editable by you. So if you only wanted to show, you know, certain values and things like that, you can certainly do it. Then we've got a graph here that we show JIRA issues by account. So you can see in this graph, Apple is our big client. They actually have 4 issues in JIRA. And then here's some other accounts that we have with fewer issues. We have some JIRA reports. We'll get into that a little later. One other thing, if we go to this other dashlet, the support screen, we've got some other graphs, which shows you all kinds of information relating to the issues. So you can have JIRA issues by type. So we could see 5 of them are improvements, 3 are epic, 6 are bugs. That's not good. 4 are new features, and 4 are tasks. And again, those JIRA types are user definable. You know, however you define them in JIRA is how they will appear here. JIRA issues by assignee. You know, Robert Plant, he's the lead singer, so he actually has the most issues assigned to him. John Bonham, the drummer. It's interesting that he has issues assigned to him since he's no longer living, but, you know, that's how it works in the business. Jimmy Page has 3 issues, and there's 1 issue not assigned to anyone, and John Paul Jones, the bass player, apparently doesn't have any issues. JIRA issues by account, we looked at that before, and then we had another one called JIRA issues by status. So 17 are open, and 5 have been resolved out of a total of 22. You can obviously do whatever you want with these graphs. This is just stuff using the standard Sugar Report Writer tool. And so we just do some basic stuff together, but you can, you know, make it niftier. You could do different graph types. You can do whatever you want to do. So, those are the dashlets view of different JIRA issues. If I wanted to look at all the issues, I could click on my JIRA issues module, and it brings up a list of all the JIRA issues in the system. And there's 22 of them. And this is just, you know, a standard list view of the search screen. So it's got the name of the issue, the account it's related to, an issue key and a project key, which are part of JIRA, the status of the issue, the JIRA type of issue, priority, the date created, the due date, and who it was assigned to. And all the search functions work standard Sugar fashion. So if I just wanted open issues that are major, now I just have open issues that are major. If I wanted open issues that are major that are assigned to my dead drummer, there I go. So this is really great if I'm wondering, wow, why isn't John returning any of my calls? Why isn't he responding to any of my emails? You know, John is busy. He's got a lot of stuff on his plate. And so if I wanted to drill down into an issue, and let's just do this. Let's take a look at this issue again if I just want to look at everything. If I wanted to drill down into an issue, I could click on the issue name, and I get all the detail relating to the issue from JIRA. And so it shows me everything there is, as well as a detailed description of the issue in JIRA, so I can really see what it is. One of the new features we're going to add coming up in the next release, which should be in early July, is on this drop-down here. There's going to be an action that says Add Note. And once you add a note, it'll create a note down here in a line item section, and that note will transmit over to JIRA so that our development team can now get feedback from sales, marketing, and support about issues going on. So if we wanted to write in here, you know, had a phone call with client, and client was wondering what was happening because they were promised the project on a certain date, we can add that in here, and that will automatically flow into JIRA. So when they pull up the issue in JIRA, they can see that. again, one of the things we were trying to accomplish with this integration was getting people to communicate and collaborate better, because our sales, marketing, and support people are in Sugar all day, but our development team and our operations team is all in JIRA all day. And rather than have people go into multiple applications, we wanted to keep the people who need to be in Sugar, and the people who need to be in JIRA. And so whatever we can do to make that happen, that's what we're doing. So that's one of the genesis of adding notes here. Is part of that is, if we can add a note here, the development team will see that as they get into that. If you wanted to add a JIRA issue in here, you can create a JIRA issue right off the drop-down. Fill out the screen, save it, and then when the sync happens at night, that issue would show up in JIRA. We also, in the next version, we plan on implementing some workflow around that, so that in addition to it adding the issue here and in JIRA, it sends an email to the operations manager alerting him that a new issue was added to JIRA. Because there's one thing those operations guys don't like, is when issues pop up and they weren't expecting them, or if you change the status of an issue here in Sugar and it changes it in JIRA, the operations people would go, I thought we closed that issue. How did it get reopened? And so some of this workflow and emails and notes around that are really critical to keeping that communication going. And then the last thing beyond this that I was going to show you guys was on the reports list. And again, you know, we created 4 JIRA reports here: JIRA issues by account, by assignee, by type, and by status. And as I said, it's just part of standard Sugar reporting. So if I wanted to go in and edit the JIRA issues by account report, you know, it just looks like a normal Sugar report. And so if I wanted to add the ability to filter by the priority of an issue, I could just add priority here. I could say it is not empty, give it runtime, save and run. You know, and then here's this, and I could just say, you know what, I only want issues where the priority is major. You know, and the issue numbers, there's only 15 of those. And so I could see, oh, Apple has 2 major issues. And so that's the cool thing about this reporting, is that you can pretty much see visibility into JIRA from the reporting module, and it works in standard Sugar fashion. We didn't do anything not consistent with standard Sugar practices. We tried to keep it very straightforward like that, so that users could do whatever they wanted to do in it in terms of reports and dashboards and such. And I think that's the main stuff that we wanted to show you guys today with the Sugar JIRA integration. If you guys want to start posting some questions, or Chloe, if you want to jump on and have people post questions online, they can do that.
Sure.
Or you know, we could take questions offline. You know, whatever seems to work best.
Okay, so we have a question here. It's, is the data live from JIRA or a copy? You mentioned sync at night for at least new issues and updates.
The sync can be as frequently as you want it to be. So you can set the sync to run every 10 minutes if you want. So essentially, it can be live if that's what you want. And I think that's how we do it. You know, we have it running every 15 minutes. And so for all intents and purposes, it's live.
So are there any other questions? Here we go. Here's another one. How is the JIRA integration product priced for customers? Flat, per user, etc.?
So current pricing for the integration is $14.99 a year. No, that's $1,499 a year, and that's regardless of number of users. For the next 30 days, we're having a special because it's a new product, and if you purchase it within the next 30 days, it's $4.99 for the first year. But beyond that, it'll be $14.99 a year, regardless of users or instances or anything like that. I'm trying to keep it simple.
Okay, so another question, are the data fields shareable across modules? So a JIRA field automatically updates a field in another module?
Yeah, it can do that because it's created consistent with Sugar standards. You can build workflows around a field. So if you know, an example of that would be if a JIRA issue becomes a critical issue, then it can automatically update a field in an account record along those lines or something like that.
Okay, and I think that answered David's additional question that he asked as well about JIRA fields. So are there any more questions? Okay, it doesn't look like there's any more questions at this point. We will be emailing everybody a link to the recording, so if you'd like to go back and watch it at another time, you can do so, and I will also put that up on the website so you can find it on the website. And if you have any questions, please email us and we will get back to you.
All right, thanks everybody. Thanks for attending.